Here I am. It took me a second to get logged in. I am so sorry. Here I am, here I am. And I completely, am I not logged in? I am. How come I'm not showing live? Hmm, what do you mean I'm not on? Do I tell you that I see thank you, Kathy. I just says that I'm not live on my channel. Ugh, always has to be some type of an issue, huh? Let me see. Let me go down and get hooked in here. Open in link. Yeah, you just gotta have. It must not be. Well, no, that's not it. It's really having a tough time today. Let's try. There I am. I think the IT universe is having brain farts today. That's for sure. Hey, King's Kid. Yeah, it is having brain farts. Let me try and get signed back in again. Nope. Hmm. Let me try launching it from here. Okay, it's going to be a butt. I am in the Zoom. It won't let me in here. Then link a new tab. Download now. Join from the browser. Well, folks, it is not letting me in. Hey, Audit. It is not letting me into Zoom. You know what? This is the one we had to have you. Henry's going in person? Yeah, you're in with Zoom, but you can't get in on a browser. I'm in on Zoom also, just not the browser. It won't let you in. We had to use your video the last time. Let me see if we can get in. Let me see if I can get in on, what the fudge is your page name? Film the police, film the something. Come on, Henry. No, that's...
Hello. This is the Commission on Disability. We are going to give another 10 minutes to start since there was a building evacuation drill and some of our commissioners might be delayed, and also want to give an opportunity for the public to arrive just in case. So let's see, it's 2:04, so start at 2:15. Okay.
Ethics and engineering. Okay, thank you. I don't know why he's got to make it so damn hard. That's not... So if you're on there, please ask him what the hell the page name is. Film the Police USA. Thank you. Jeez, Pete's frickin'. He's not live. That is... It's not Film the Police. It is not Film the Police LA.
I'm going to keep this one short.
at Film LaPlante, and he's not live. So we get no visual. Nope, he's not. He's not live. Let me text him. Hey, Adrian. Nothing like trying to figure this out. Yeah, I'm on Zoom, but I can't. Zoom doesn't go on OBS or thing. You have to have the browser. This is the Department of Disability in Los Angeles, but it's not doing any good because I don't have a visual. I only have audio, and the audio is not going to pick up either without. You're welcome, Adrian. Yeah, that definitely sucks for me. I'll try again. And I don't have a commercial Zoom account. Nope, you have to have a commercial Zoom account to put it on your browser. Frickin' blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't know when when she came on, I know did you guys hear her when she came on? Looks like they don't have anything except for ad hoc public comment, ad hoc committees, and the executive's report. Because I'm on Zoom, Ganja. It's just not showing. Okay, so Henry is what channel? I know Henry is live. I don't know which channel. Let me find out which channel. And then we can stream him. This is how we had to do it. Yes, you are in Zoom, but you have to have a workplace thing. I'm in Zoom also, but the Zoom app, not
Recording
the Zoom.
in progress.
Good afternoon, commissioners and all of you in attendance. Welcome to the March Commission on Disability meeting. My name is Kayvon Roten, Commission Liaison for the Commission on Disability. I'm a tall African-American woman with long black wavy hair and wearing a black jacket with the city seal. I would like to kick it over to President Tagawa for a very important housekeeping information.
Thank you, Kayvon. Welcome to the Commission on Disability meeting. Today is Thursday, March 20th, 2025, and the time is 2:15 p.m. We are in the Board of Public Works Hearing Room 350 at City Hall, 200 North Spring Street, Los Angeles, California, 90012, and virtually over Zoom. We did start a little late, and I wanted to record that the delays were due to a citywide evacuation drill. City Hall, not citywide, yes, City Hall, hopefully it's a drill. Evacuation drill. I am President Akiko Tagawa, and I will be chairing this meeting. I am female of Asian descent, identifying as she, her, hers. I am a Generation Xer of short stature and with short grain hair. Today, I am wearing a black suit with white framed glasses. I'm going to go over some housekeeping items before we get started. This meeting is being recorded. Therefore, we ask that when addressing the commission, you speak close to the microphone and only one person at a time. Please state your name each time you speak. This meeting is also being live streamed. Individuals who wish to watch this meeting may do so by visiting disability.lacity.gov. Click on the Commission on Disability Meeting Agendas link. Find the agenda for today. The meeting link can be found in the agenda. We will be following the agenda order. Agendas are located on the table by the entrance door, along with speaker cards. Individuals who are physically here and wish to address this commission must fill out a speaker's card and specify which item or items you're going to speak on. Individuals can provide public comment or comments about a specific item in person or virtually via Zoom link provided on the agenda. Public comment rules will be given at the appropriate times. Also, we do have sign language translation ongoing virtually. So clarity and pace, and I'm sorry if I'm going quickly, is important. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Kayvon.
Thank you, President Tagawa, for that important housekeeping information. I would like to continue with roll call. Akiko Tagawa.
Present.
Mary Grace Barrios.
Present.
Myrna Kabamban. She let us know that she will be absent today. Candace Cable.
Here.
Alyssa Schlesinger.
Here.
Iron Hop.
Here.
George Acevedo. Robert Batante.
Here.
Robert Williams.
Here.
Madam President, we have quorum.
Thank you.
Item number 1, request for remote participation upon pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E2A. In accordance with Government Code Section 54953E2A, members may now notify the Commission of their need to participate remotely for just cause or request the Commission to allow them to participate in the meeting remotely due to emergency circumstances, if they haven't already done so, including a general description of the circumstances relating to their need to appear remotely. The provisions of this subdivision shall not be used by any member of the Commission more than 2 meetings per calendar year. The member shall publicly disclose at the meeting before any action is taken whether any other individuals 18 years of age or older are present in the room at the remote location with the member, and the general nature of the member's relationship with any such individuals. The member shall participate through both audio and visual technology. This item is for discussion and action. We have one commissioner who is requesting remote participation. Commissioner Barrios, you may begin.
I'm not feeling well. I don't know if one say why. It's a little embarrassing. There's nobody in my room, just myself. It's a physical reason, medical.
We will begin roll call, voting whether or not to have the member participate through both audio and visual technology. I'll begin the roll call. Akiko Tagawa.
Yes.
Myrna, Candace Cable.
Yes.
Alyssa Schlesinger. Iron Hopkins.
Yes.
George Acevedo. Robert Batante.
Yes.
Robert Williams.
Yes.
It was unanimous. She can participate remotely.
So moved.
Thank you.
Are there any public comment?
Public comments?
No? Okay. Item 2, approval of the regular meeting minutes. The commission will review the minutes of the February 2025 regular meeting and vote to approve. This item is for discussion and action.
Any actions?
So moved.
Second?
A second, Commissioner Cable.
Commissioner Cable seconds. Any discussions? Okay, it doesn't look like there's any discussions. If we could move to roll call.
Akiko Tagawa.
Yes.
Mary Grace Barrios.
Yes.
Candace Cable.
Yes.
Alyssa Schlesinger.
Yes.
Aaron Hopkins.
Yes.
George Acevedo. Robert Batante.
Abstain.
Robert Williams.
Yes.
The voting was unanimous.
Any public comments?
Yes. I will ask if they have public comment for this item or is it for general? Public commenters, do you have a public comment relating to item 2?
No, not for 2.
Okay. Thank you.
Not for 2.
Good afternoon. Public comment only.
Okay, that's 3-2. Okay, moving on. We have no public comment for item number 2.
Thank you, Kayvon.
You're welcome. Item 3, public comment on items not on the agenda. For items not on today's agenda, but under the commission's jurisdiction, members of the public who wish to speak on items shall be allowed to speak for up to 2 minutes per item, up to a total of 5 minutes per meeting. This item is for information. As a reminder, members of the public who wish to speak on items shall be allowed to speak for up to 2 minutes per item, up to the total of 5 minutes per meeting. We request that each speaker announce their name before public comment, but this is not required. This is for the benefit of our captioners, interpreters, and attendees. Virtual attendees are automatically muted upon entry and need to use the raise hand function to indicate your wish to speak on a specific agenda item. To use the raise hand function, press the star and then 9 when called upon. You may unmute by pressing star and then 6. In person.
In person, we have Henri.
Hi, good afternoon, board. My name is Henry, and I just want to briefly bring your attention to a report my good friend Audit, I believe, has served this board on the CASP, giving notice for dozens and dozens of ADA violations upon the Blue Building campus owned by Scientology at the 4810 West Sunset Boulevard. I have the unfortunate experience of witnessing my very good friend Audit be physically trapped on a sidewalk destroyed by Scientology due to the unlawful barricade of the public right-of-way via planters as well as plastic netting. The static weight over time has destroyed all of those sidewalks. It has led to clear harm. One of those people being my good friend Audit, who was trapped by her wheelchair and couldn't move as a result. And I think lawfully this board has a responsibility and the lawful duty to hold them accountable. There's several LAMC codes, 5611 and 5612 particularly, where you can criminally charge via misdemeanors as well as issue $2,500 fine per violation per day of the ongoing violations. And I just want to leave you with that so I give the rest of the audience. But I urge the board to take a look at it. I appreciate your time, and we put a lot of effort into that CAS report. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Second, I have Enoch.
Prophecy has come true
Henry, don't
that this city
leave.
continues to discriminate under the authority of Willits versus Los Angeles because just like Obama and the Rosa law, we got fucked. And we get fucked every time this body does not fucking enforce our ADA rights, our civil rights. Where's your advocacy?
Henry,
12 years I fought for Marengo and Soto, and David Stephen Simon, for the record, knows what the fuck I'm talking about. I went through Caltrans for 7 fucking years after your fucked up mayor, your fucked up city made me homeless. All because of my invisible disability. And going forward, I submitted a letter to David March 10th, 2025 for the record regarding the city's response did not resolve the matter of ADA compliance on Marengo and Soto for ramps or curb cuts by County USC. And let me remind you, the city had to pay a family $1 million in damages because I brought the Federal Highway Administration to fix the problem with their landslide sliding onto Soto Corridor, which triggered this event that I'm speaking about right now. And that's why I made reference to the United States versus Bagdasarian, shoot the nigger, if I could. But the point here I'm trying to get to you as a body that represents I and others that are disabled is do your fucking job with diligence. 2 minutes. I'm using up an extra minute, sir. What the fuck? You just got through telling me 5 fucking minutes ago.
5 per meeting. 2 Friday. You can skip the next week. You have,
Pardon me?
you're done. 5 minutes total per meeting.
Well, why the fuck you tell me I only had 5 minutes total?
Just announced.
Who the fuck is he, Madam Chair? Do I get the 5 minutes total or do I get to use up my time accordingly?
Interrupt the meeting. Please sit down.
It's 2 minutes per.
I heard the nigger. Thank you.
Absolutely intolerable. Absolutely ridiculous.
Do we have any public comment online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon,
Commenter,
Commissioner.
you can begin.
Hi, I'm Audit LA. I usually attend in person in the chair, but I can't this month because of my chair needing repair. I too want to talk about the CASP report. The people who are very invested in this discussion graciously contributed for me to be able to order that. And I did submit it to Mr. Simon and Kayvon, but I don't know how to submit it to everybody because I really want the entire board to look at this. It is 71 pages of violations. The very day after putting out that report, Scientology did begin to remove the planters, and now all the 251 planters and the 86 illegally placed rose bushes are removed. But there's still a lot of stuff to be done. Like my friend Henry said, that street, the sidewalk on Fountain is still a mess. I did get tracked. I had to have a friend unlock me and try to push me out of it. And I almost got flipped out also. And instead of just trying to go, litigation and suing, I am trying to do it to get, help through advocacy, through the city government to help make changes, and that it's not going to be years waiting for that. There's still also that it's inaccessible even to get into their religious compound. I would really want you to look at this. People who are disabled cannot easily access going into Scientology either because they have their parking lot blocked off saying it's for Scientologists only. The other entrance, no other entrance is open, or there's like large stairways to get in. It's not accessible. And then there's no parking because they are claiming it's a no parking street. So you could not park and just get out of a access vehicle near to where you can go into their building at the entrance. So it's inaccessible to people in chairs to get in at all if you want to
Thank
go
you,
inquire.
caller.
Thank you.
Before we go to the next one, I just want to reiterate that it's 2 minutes per item, up to a total of 5 minutes per meeting. Okay.
Public commenter, you may begin.
Thank you, commissioners. This is Mona M. I am an elderly woman and I am a paraplegic chair user. So I definitely need the accessible sidewalks, accessible doors. Accessibility is my name. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. I also want to refer to that CAS report that Audit LA and Henry had talked about. For my consideration, the 4 roads around the Blue Building, Catalina, Sunset, L. Ron Hubbard Way, and Fountain Avenue, none of them have accessible parking. Not one accessible parking spot. L. Ron Hubbard Way has plenty of room to where it could have accessible parking spot because that is the closest to the accessible entrance. There's only one accessible entrance on Sunset where there's a parking lot. There are a few parking spaces, accessible spots within the parking lot itself, but it's parishioner parking only. So you can't visit, you can't park along the roadside. There's not a pathway, an alternate path of travel, and there are no other entrances that are accessible. So I yield back my time. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you.
Thank you, caller. Next public commenter, you may begin.
Hi, my name is Gigi, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I want to first commend you guys on the minutes that you do for the meetings. A lot of meetings that I have attended, they just skip through the minutes, and you guys detail, what the public comments are about. You might not go into detail for each speaker, but you put a list of like what each person sort of touched on, and I appreciate that a lot. I also appreciate that when you are on Zoom and you look at the podium cam, you're reminded when there's 30 seconds left. That is really awesome that you guys do that, and I appreciate that so much. I also appreciate that when we have spoken about the ADA noncompliance with Scientology, that you guys listen. Other commissions have not listened for months and months on end, and we feel like we're being taken serious and that we're being listened to. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate you. And I do not want to take more of your time, so I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. 24. Caller, you may begin.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Children's Voices Matter, otherwise known as Marie. Today, I wanted to talk about, in Scientology, children and adults with disabilities are considered degraded beings. This is considered the lowest on the tone scale, next to being gay. You are the lowest form of life. That's what they feel like when you're disabled in Scientology. I'm going to read an excerpt from Nathan Rich's Skythe Telepo book. And just to explain what's going on, all these children are at what is called the lower ranch, and Nathan is describing one of the disabled children. Buddy was an older kid, but mentally a child. He had damaged his brain in an accident at a Scientology school called Apple School. It was clear to me that he needed special attention. Special attention is what they gave him, just not the kind I expected. Buddy was the designated mule for all things hard labor. The staff made him dig ditches, move rocks, and chop wood. They made him do the difficult duty or disgusting tasks. This is the pervading attitude toward disabled people in Scientology, even children. Thank you so much. I yield back my time.
Thank you, caller. There are no more public comment.
Thank you, Kayvon. And before we move on to item 4, I have a request from Executive Director Stephen David Simon if we could move up item number 6. So we're going to hear the Executive Director's report first.
Item 6, Executive Director's Report. The Department on Disability Executive Director Stephen David Simon and/or other department staff will provide an update on items relating to department activities, metrics, budget, planning, and/or other relevant issues. This item is for discussion.
Good afternoon, commissioners and members of the public. Stephen Simon speaking. I am a 50-something bald black man wearing glasses and a blue sport jacket and white dress shirt. We asked to move this item up because I have two of my division directors from the Department on Disability who are joining us to add to the presentation on some of the department's goings on. I will start with a few items and then turn it to them shortly. First, I did want to give a brief update and say a big thank you to participating commissioners regarding the Abilities Expo. The event was extremely well attended. It was overcrowded most of the time. The Department on Disability as one of the larger sort of community or government-based booths. We had multiple city departments there, including the mayor's office, the Department of Aging, Los Angeles Public Library, Rec and Parks, LADWP, Civil and Human Rights Department as well. Thank you to Commissioners Tagawa, Acevedo, Barrios, Cable, and Cabanban who helped staff the table. And I think most of you got to spin our winning wheel, and it became a very popular booth. So we are hoping this model continues to expand where government agencies, city and county, actually can be together in sort of a government services and compliance pavilion. So we will follow up on that. Though our understanding is the expo is moving to Long Beach for next year because the LA Convention Center and the producers of the event couldn't reach a date that would work in March. But hopefully we'll be back in LA and we will continue to support them even if they're in Long Beach. It is one of the preeminent events for people with disabilities in the region. So again, thank you for participating. Kayvon, did you want to? You had a note you wanted to read actually into the record on behalf of some of the core staff, our community outreach and education staff.
Yes. This thank you is from Blanca Holiday. She's our CPA2 core community engagement officer. Thank you for attending the Abilities Expo this past weekend. We appreciate you taking the time to join us in representing the Department on Disability and the Commission on Disability. It was great. It was a great event with thousands of attendees that were able to learn about the services available to them. The presence of our commissioners was extremely appreciated, from supporting in our booth, engaging with constituents, to networking with being interviewed. Our department was well represented, and I was grateful to be a part of it. There was also a survey, right? There was also a survey that she wanted the attending commissioners to take, and I will be sending that to you guys directly through email.
Thank you, Kayvon. And I'll also note we received, the Department on Disability for the city received a commendation from Fiona Ma, the California State Treasurer, who also joined us for the ribbon cutting of the event. So I will circulate that among commissioners. But again, thank you for your support and participation in that important event. One yes. Another brief highlight before we get into more pressing matters. I had the opportunity to participate for the first time in the LA County Regional Coordinating Council for Aging and Disability. This is something that is hosted by our counterparts at LA County, the Department of Aging and Disabilities. It is a grant they received recently. This is their first formal working meeting. The charge of that council is to, in partnership with the Los Angeles County Aging and Disabilities Department and the Area Agency on Aging and Partners in Care Foundation, to bring together diverse health and social care organizations to promote integrated whole person care. The focus is on creating a collaborative, efficient, and equitable system that enhances the quality of life for older adults and persons living with disabilities. The goal is to align and optimize public and private resources across the health, public health, and social care sectors. I'll tell you, I'm very excited about the opportunity of the department participating in an ongoing matter with this coordinating council. They are focused very strong on federal and state policy and federal and state funding, both of which are having challenges at this time, as we know. And it's a great opportunity for us to sort of expand our bandwidth in that policy space. So that's all I'll say in it for now, but my expectation is I'll have someone from that entity come and present in front of this commission, should you so want, in the coming months. Sorry, long list here. Okay. And then one more highlight just of the department. So the city side of the LA Aging and Disabilities Collaborative, which is a different entity than one I just discussed, is something that we host on a quarterly basis to discuss policy issues and to bring mostly service providers in the disability sphere and the aging sphere together. Some county and city and state entities participate as well. Our next meeting is April 1st at the California Endowment. We are inviting all the commissioners to that event. Of course, you can't talk business, Brown Act. What you can is independent individuals participate. We'll be talking about the what occurred during, I was going to say the after action. It's not a formal after action, but we're going to talk about the fires, their impact on communities, on disability communities and aging communities, both from a planning standpoint, an execution standpoint, and a response and recovery standpoint. I will be presenting, we believe the head of the Department of Aging for the city will be presenting, and the head of the Emergency Management Department from the city will be doing so as well. And our county equivalents will be joining us. So that's going to be, I think, an exciting meeting. It's an opportunity for community to really be heard about concerns and to really get best practices moving forward. So that meeting is on April 1st. We'll send the commissioners updated information on that. So next, I'm going to throw the mic. I probably won't throw the mic. Give the mic by inviting to the podium two of our division directors. First, I would like Ricky Rosales, the LA City AIDS coordinator, to come give you an update on sort of the status of what I'll call his space. He'll explain that in a moment, in light of what's happening at sort of federal, state, and local level. I'll presage both conversations that are going to happen because we're going to go into budget after that. Really, the rest of my report today, and then I'll join in after these two division directors speak. And we'll talk about the sort of the state that the city is in right now and its impact on this department and possible impact on community. So Ricky Rosales, City AIDS Coordinator.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Nice to see everyone. Ricky Rosales, City AIDS Coordinator. I am a Latino man, dark hair, dark eyes, wearing a black suit, black shirt, and a very fashionable green pattern tie. I'm here to just give you a quick update on things happening on the federal level that are likely to impact Los Angeles County, as well as the city. We've been getting reports from national organizations and from the news media that the federal government plans on eliminating all HIV prevention funding nationwide. That would severely impact all the efforts that my office, as well as the county and the nonprofit partners that we work with, have been working on for the past 40 years. A lot of the services that are funded with that money, which is about $12 million coming to LA County, includes HIV testing, STI testing and treatment, pre-exposure prophylaxis, post-exposure prophylaxis, and other outreach efforts to get people into services. A lot of the nonprofits that we work with will be severely impacted because a lot of the funding that they receive with these services are through the federal government. And so I'm here to sort of let you know what's happening. The plan that we hear that they're coming up with, it's not set. They haven't released any details. Is that they want to consolidate the CDC HIV prevention services with the Health and Human Services treatment and care services. The problem with that is that the HHS does not have any experience or staff that knows how to do HIV prevention work. They're completely different programs. They've collaborated, but they don't do the same thing. The Ryan White Care Act, which funds care and treatment nationwide, is an act of Congress. It does not include any language in there for HIV prevention. So Congress would have to act to add HIV prevention into HHS, into the Ryan White Care Act, in order for these services to continue. Otherwise, they would just cease to exist. So I wanted to make you aware It's going to impact a lot of people over the past 15 years with all these new biomedical interventions that have been rolled out through the CDC. We went from having 1,000 new HIV infections in the city of LA down to half. So it's a big impact. Without these services, we're going to see a lot more people getting sick, a lot more people not being able to access services. So thank you.
Thank you. And you can ask Ricky questions after I do my the rest of my report, if that's okay. What I will add, sort of on Ricky's behalf, if you will, I think I talked about it at your last meeting. The AIDS program for the city of Los Angeles, which is funded about $1,180,000, give or take, and that's a cut after a couple $100,000 were cut last year. Was faced with a threat in the mid-year financial status report of being cut another $320 some odd thousand. And fortunately, the Budget and Finance Committee stepped up, and a motion was introduced that would the money technically is still being taken out, but the money is being restored by the end of this fiscal year. So that's an important, I'll call it a victory, but that would have really, that cut gone through, it would have cut our prevention programs by a good quarter citywide, and it would have been devastating, consistent with what Mr. Rosales is saying. So that was a direct threat. We've managed to survive it thus far, but we'll talk a little more in depth on some of the budget risks coming up shortly. So Ricky, I'm going to trade you off for Ian first, and folks can ask you questions after. Next, I'd like to introduce a DoD staff member I don't believe this commission has formally had the opportunity to meet. Mr. Ian Thompson is our very new director of admin services. He runs that division. He is our budget director, and he has hit the ground doing extraordinary work already. So we did want to, just introduce you to him here. Let me give you a brief overview of our budget and sort of where it stands. And then I get the fun of doing the drama piece representing what happened at council yesterday and the announcements of the city's budget deficit. But please welcome Ian Thompson.
Thank you, Stephen. Good afternoon, commissioners. I've met a few of you just briefly, but happy to meet all of you and members of the public as well. I'm a 40-something, relatively tall, light-skinned man wearing a black, well, sorry, I'm not colorblind. Maybe I am. A dark blue jacket and a white shirt. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the status of our projected department budget as of now, as of what we know. Yesterday in City Council, which is what Stephen will talk about, we heard a lot of big numbers thrown around. It was in the news about a $1 billion budget gap for next year and so forth. We haven't yet received any information on how that will impact ours or any other department at the city, although we know there will be some changes, most likely, with the projected budget for next year. But it is year-round budget season. However, now we're really in the thick of it. The department submits its initial budget, as you all know, in November. We hear back with changes or requests for changes. On my first day on the job, which was February 24th, several weeks ago now, we had our initial preliminary budget hearing. It's a meeting really with CAO staff and leadership and mayor's office staff and leadership as well to go over an initial proposal of what the budget may look like. So we get a little bit of a kernel of what it could be. It's based on the CAO's draft at the time. And as I stress, it's just a very draft proposal. Things change all the time. Because as the CAO said in City Council yesterday, we're in a difficult situation. And so we do anticipate some changes coming our way over the coming weeks. However, I will tell you what we discussed, just tentatively speaking. So again, none of this is written in stone. Tentatively, we do have our base budget, which is the general operating costs of the department, approved. Which would include things beyond that, things like a student worker program, funding for the durable medical equipment program, which is especially lauded by folks in the response to the fires but it's been very helpful to people throughout the city. ADA, money for ADA web and mobile accessibility, and also important positions in the department. But it would tentatively reduce our expense accounts by a significant amount as well. And that's something that's not new to the department. As you may know, last year there were those, or the city as a whole, last year there were those cuts that were supposed to be one-time cuts, but we're in a different situation. We also were directed to put in requests for the upcoming Olympic Games and other, the World Cup and other games too. Those were not really something that I think is going to be funded directly at this time. However, anything is possible. And so the total proposed budget would be over about 3 to 5% over what the department's budget was last year. Again, very tentative. And I do want to stress that the mayor has to put out her budget, her proposed budget, which will then go to the city council. This year, I believe it'll be on April 21st because the 20th, the charter mandated date, is on a Sunday. So look for it on April 21st and you'll hear from us about it as well. And those are really the next steps. There are discussions that will happen. We do expect to get a new package from the CAO. But once the mayor proposes her budget in April, there'll be a week or so in between when Budget and Finance and Innovation Committee starts its hearings. And that's when the department will go before that council committee and discuss the budget, request changes, defend programs, whatever may be asked, reports may be asked for, and we would have to comply with that as well. But we will submit a public letter before that outlining our department priorities. We will discuss those priorities with elected offices as well that are key and important to our constituency. And I just, again, I've said it a million times, but things can and will change. They may change up to the last minute. People can make requests for all sorts of things. But once it goes through the council committee, it goes to the CLA, the council votes on it. And by the end of May, we should know what our budget is going into the next fiscal year, which, as you know, starts on July 1st. So that's kind of where we are right now. And I'm sorry, there are a lot of qualifications, but it is that type of year, unfortunately.
It is. Thank you so much, Ian. Steve Simon here again. So what I want to segue that, so that's sort of the baseline of where we're at budget and what our reality was a few weeks ago. And some of that came crashing down, though we really don't have details yet yesterday. So what I'll stress is the city's chief administrative officer presented at the budget, presented at full council the mid-year financial status report. And during that meeting, he stressed that there is a significant gap in the budget, both on the revenue and spending side. The starting gap was 61 million. There's an additional revenue gap now of 315 million, an increase in liabilities claims of additional 100 million than what was expected. The need to restore our reserve funds, which are at a precipitously low number of 275 million to get back close to what our minimum is supposed to be there. $80 million in solid waste fee subsidy. Basically, the city has been subsidizing the cost of solid waste or trash pickup without increases in fees for many years. And that's creating an additional $80 million gap. And then additional pension costs due to the renegotiated employee contracts this past year of an additional $100 million. That comes to approximately $1 billion. So the largest structural deficit this city has faced. Quotes from that presentation: clearly the city is facing serious financial headwinds. Financial conditions have been exacerbated by the wildfires. And there are significant federal uncertainties due to federal actions that they are trying to plan for here, but clearly we don't know what the federal government is going to do in the coming months. Therefore, immediate spending reductions are required, and we must prepare for further reductions if revenues continue to decline. The way that was presented yesterday, again, without specifics to departments, it included the following. And this is, again, the city's chief administrative officer his office received a letter from the mayor, which we will circulate to the commission. It's a public letter directing the CAO to come up with a plan to address this gap. And in that directive are the need to reduce liability costs, to change the number, structure, and responsibilities of departments to focus on the city's work on the most critical services, to reduce contract expenses, realize payroll and benefit savings, preserve the reserve fund, and to make structural reforms. So 2 things that were specifically said in that report yesterday included that while layoffs were not guaranteed, the concept is on the table. And if, to the extent that they are talking about layoffs, they said not dozens or hundreds, but thousands. So a significant realignment of the workforce. And again, as far as departments were concerned, the common language that we've been working with this past year is sort of realigning our services to the resources we have, which is great. We've been working on that and really trying to streamline the work we do. But that has shifted to a conversation about the potential elimination of departments. So we have not heard anything specific to our department. I want to be super clear on that. We are awaiting hopefully a new blue book that will list what our projected budget and recommendations might be. I'm also speculating at the possibility that the conversation about consolidating departments comes up again. It's happened. I've been here literally almost exactly 20 years, and twice it has come up in that history during tough economic times. And for example, partnering disability with aging or youth services or civil and human rights, which is a newer department that has not faced that before, may all be on the table. So we will keep this commission posted to the best of our ability as we get information. So there will be opportunities, as this commission has requested in the past, for this commission and the community to make their thoughts and concerns and recommendations known to both council and the mayor's office. The timeline for the budget hasn't changed. So we expect it to be at budget and finance over a certain period, back to full council at a certain period. And we will get those dates in front of you again. So that, I think, concludes my report and staff report. And I certainly welcome any questions from the commission.
Commissioner Butante.
Stephen, thank you. One of the things that I was anticipating in your report was metrics. And I think numbers are important to delineate what we're able to do and what we have been unable to do, because we're talking about money and resources and the ability to do work. And I think metrics would help when you have how many requests for services you've received, how many requests for pavement issues, for inaccessibility issues, and then how many we're able to do and how many we're not able to do. I think that's important going forward, because we're certainly at some point going to have to communicate to the mayor's office that we can't do it with the budget that we have. And I think that the numbers would speak loudly to that. So if you could put together some kind of metrics, it'd be greatly appreciated.
If I might make a brief. So agreed entirely, Commissioner. And I'll you know me, I always say more than I'm supposed to. I'll tell you, when I said to Ian, come, let's come do a presentation tomorrow. It was short notice, and come talk about the budget. He said, we should wait till we have that data and those metrics in front of you. So today we really just wanted to sort of raise the alarm a bit, but we will come back with far more specific numbers and get that in front of you. And there's sort of 2 sides to that. One is the department side. We have it in key things from blue curbs and DME and sort of the where we're at with the self-evaluation transition plan, things like that could be threatened in this space. The HIV and AIDS program have a lot of good detailed numbers about who they serve, including overdose prevention work, literally lives saved. And we can bring that data back. The flip side will also be the data we will have to then develop based on what expected cuts come our way. And we should be able to ideally show both the things that would have to be cut and the impact on community.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, something stuck in my throat. Any other comments, discussions? No? Okay, public comments? We had, I'm sorry, Commissioner Hopkins?
Hi, this is Commissioner Hopkins. I feel like I should say something here because I find that the conversation tends to be about the money already in the door and the money already on the table and what we're going to do to accommodate shortfalls. But we need to approach the problem from all sides. And one of the biggest, easiest ways to address it is to increase revenue. Where do we have inefficiency? Where are there citations that need to be enforced? One of our public commenters mentioned very important detail that in most of our municipal code, violations are a separate violation each day. For example, with commercial cannabis or illegal non-compliant cannabis operations, landlords are responsible for $10,000 fines every single day they allow a non-compliant cannabis business to interact with the public. We have zillions of those types of code enforcement issues that are not being properly monitored, cited, or enforced, and this all leads to major public safety issues, and it also creates complacency and kills motivation and enthusiasm at the office. So we need people to feel empowered to do their jobs. I encourage all city managers of our DOD teams, that I know you guys interact with other teams, like we need to invite city employees to comment on how we could make their job how they could feel more empowered in their job. Where are there opportunities to improve our teamwork or make our work more effective? We have thousands of people with ideas that we've not even asked to consider. So I think that this is not only an expense and disappointment on a shortfall, but we also need to approach it as a total business approach and focus on making sure that all the laws are being followed. We do have a duty to enforce code violations, and we could be like, just think of ADA parking placard abuse. You know, there's so many. We could go down each department and probably find one or two little ones where there's just blatant disregard for the law in the city and no one's doing anything about it. So I encourage everyone to please, in whatever interactions we do have with the city, think about it from a revenue perspective either, because we are leaving a lot of money on the table and we can't just keep cutting personnel as a way to satisfy ongoing budgetary cash flow issues. We need to increase revenue as well.
Commissioner Batante.
I applaud the idea of generating revenue through enforcement of codes. The problem is that the argument that we need to enforce it will ultimately fall on city attorneys and revenue agents, and I'm sure they're going to be cut too. So you end up in a vicious cycle where the enforcers are also being laid off instead of hired. So you know the idea of enforcing is great, but who's going to do it? And that's going to be the first question.
So I know we'll cover this when we go over ad hoc committee reports, but if you're interested in joining Commissioner Kabamban and me draft the recommendation letter for the budget, we welcome your support. But any additional comments from the commissioners regarding this matter? If none, we will go to public comments. Again, the rule is 2 minutes per item. 5 minutes total. And I think we have Enoch Herman.
First fucking black mayor who's failed at providing a reasonable budget after she allowed some fucking cholo gangbanging fucking Mandarin nigger to rip us off $2.2 million. It's a fucking insult. And I demand that you do something about the goddamn curbs and those goddamn ramps for the last fucking 7 years. This goes back to Washington, what Mr. Todd, Mr. Simon, it starts then. It starts now. Not 5 years, not 6 months. Now. I demand that fucking shit. I demand a dirty nigger respond to why I have to send the fucking Jews back to Israel. Back Zarian talks about the other fuck nigger. Now I'm talking about the other dirty nigger. So either you fix the fucking problem or do something about the fucking problem. Because we're tired of the nonsense excuses about the fucking budget. Maybe you should fill up those cubicles in your goddamn office, David, so people can fucking work from work, not from fucking home and don't do shit. You're all full of shit. For the record.
Thank you. Are there any more public comments in person? Thank you. On sorry about that. On the internet, public comment, you may begin.
Yes, thank you for the report. But I agree with the commissioner who said that you have to go after the money that you are leaving on the table. My friend who left earlier, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the city attorney found enough time, energy, whatever, to criminally, she's criminally going after him because he made the non-ADA compliant, this netting that was, it was a tripping hazard. He discussed it, this netting. He gently just got it out of the public easement. They didn't have a permit for it. They were fined and cited for it. He removed it for the greater good to help prevent any injuries and further lawsuits against this city. And he is being criminally tried for that, which is a disgrace. But mind you, that the Scientology has spent how many months from June till just a couple weeks ago purposely defying all federal ADA laws, okay? And what's happening to them? Supposedly, they did get cited and fined. They're not paying any fines from what I hear. And supposedly the city attorney is going to be, having hearings, whatever, to talk about it with them. But that's all been canceled. I don't have any proof that that's even going to continue. So and if you do those daily fines, I think that we found out that they would owe the city over, I think, $1.5 million. That's a lot of money. So instead of going after somebody who actually was trying to help because I was saying, wow, this is really dangerous. And I already got trapped there. So helping people who are actually ADA, that gets prosecuted. But the people who are doing it, putting up the blockades, they're the victims. It doesn't make sense to me. I am begging you to read the CASP report. I will resend it, Mr. Simon, and please get it to everybody on this commission so you can see the level of how much ADA violations there are. But no one's going after the true violators.
Thank you, Carla. That is your time.
Thank you.
Next public commenter, you may begin.
Thank you very much. My name is John Kendrick, and I agree with the commissioner. I mean, if you look at our history and you pull the records on citations, we have lost a lot of money, and not just in collecting from citations, but also too, by not enforcing them, people have got killed, got hurt, and the city has got sued and paid out millions at the same time. And if it's done right, the money they can collect would pay for some of these people to do the job. I mean, we pass all these laws and spend all this money to put them on the books, but we don't enforce them. And then we complain about people getting killed and getting hurt. What's the point of all of this if we go round and round and the only thing that changes is people who sit on committees, our mayor and other people? You know, we just lost this week an officer who had 2 small children in the news because the person who did the crime has been got busted, and still he was back on the streets doing the same thing. People with cell phones. How many people have died? And many of us has been people with disabilities and wheelchairs or blind or something. We have the power. We need to start using that power. And it's going to be hard to start off because we let it get to this point, and it's going to take time to fix the thing. But if we don't start now,
That is your time.
well, thank you.
We have no more public comment.
Thank you, Kayvon. Okay, so going back to item number 4.
Item number 4, rescheduling of the June Commission on Disability meeting. The commission will.
Okay, you guys, they're only doing that, and then they're doing the ad hoc committee. No, you didn't say shitty. The commissioner was talking, and he went to go say city something, and it ended up shitty. It was funny. I thought it was funny. My 12-year-old sense of humor got the better of me. Okay, you guys, I am going to go get supper out of the oven. It's a little bit after 6 here. I do believe Ganja Girl and Audit LA are going live in 45 minutes. So we shall hop on that in a little bit. Hey, Molly Moon, nice to see you on here. We're just getting ready to close up for the day. So I am going to stop streaming, and we'll see you guys in about 45 minutes.